Hi everybody, I see people starting to get on. We'll wait a few more minutes. Hi Diane and Ronnie, Joanne and Nancy St. Pierre. Welcome, welcome. Had a hard time getting on tonight, so I hope we don't lose our connection. Yes, Cindy. Welcome. I'll wait just one more minute. I have a couple of really fun projects tonight, something a little bit different. It's Patsy. Hi everybody. All right, well, I guess we'll get started. It looks like we've got a few people on here. Okay, so this is the current host code for the month. If you'd like to place an order that's less than $150, please use this host code. I know everybody knows who I am, but I do upload this to YouTube tomorrow. So for those people, my name is Corinne Sandin. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Lewiston, Maine. I've been teaching stamping and scrapbooking for quite a few years. So I have a few housekeeping things to take care of first before we jump into our projects. I've been talking about the paper designer series paper sale for a couple of weeks. We have a few more weeks until it ends, so these selected papers are on sale for 15% off. You can buy as many as you want. You and a friend could each buy a packet and maybe share it. If you have any questions or need a link or anything, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you with that. Then I'm doing a paper share with these 4 papers. So the Titan of Christmas, Beauty of Earth, In Good Taste, pen design paper. I hopefully will have it all ready for you to pick up next week. You will get 12 sheets of one of these, whichever packet you pick, of 6x6 paper. You will also get a PDF file of the cards that I've been making with this. And then there'll be a bonus card in your kit already completed with an envelope using one of these papers. And then they just announced the paper pumpkin for next month. It is designed by one of the original co-founders, Shelley. So it's a special box. It's called a Hope Box. It's going to be enough supplies to create 9 cards, and the box is intended to be a keepsake box. You have until August 10th to order this. If you go to my business page, you will see a link. If you can't find it, please reach out to me, and I will be happy to connect you to that. And I see Sandra has joined us, and Donna Fales has joined us. Welcome, welcome, ladies. And then many of us are so excited. I finally got a confirmation today. Oh, and I see Connie's here now too, Connie Clavet. We're going to have our Codes for Kids fundraisers at Holy Cross Church in the basement. It's an all-day thing. I have quite a combination of scrapbookers and paper crafters, I call them. The first one will be Saturday, September 11th from 8 to 4. You can mail a check or get in touch with Leo or me. Again, all of this information is on my business page, and you will see me probably publish it a couple of times, like every other week. Then for October, we have one for the American Legion. So I always like to do co-ops and paper crafts to support good causes. So this is going to help support the American Legion out in Litchfield. So again, if you need any information, please contact me. This one here, if you like to pay online, I do have a PayPal link I can send to you. And then the exciting news. We have 2 brand new catalogs that are going to go live August. And we're going to have another round of celebration. I can't show you the insides of the catalogs until they actually debut. But this catalog here will be good until July, August 1st. It says July, but it's August 1st to December 31st. And then this one will start August 3rd to September 20th. September of 2030. There's all kinds of perks in here. For every $50 you spend before tax and shipping, you get to select an item. And of course, it goes up in increments of 50. And it's every $50 that you spend before tax. So you could have your own workshop, get some free supplies, get some free products, or you could sign up to be a demonstrator. You do not have to ever have a party. It's your personal preference. I'll be happy to give you the information about that and the pros and cons of it all. If you have ordered from me in the last 6 months, you will get a catalog from me. I've just finished getting the ones ready for local people that can pick them up. If you live out of town, I will be mailing them to you on Saturday. So if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to share. All right, so enough garbage talking. I can show you a couple of projects that I've made. These are for the cards that go, you'll get one or the other card in your little kit with the catalogs in a wish list. This is featuring one of the new bundles that will be available in the larger catalog, and then the background paper is actually going to be a freebie in the celebration. I know, Cindy, it's so exciting, and there's so many great products this time. Okay, so I wanted to feature some paper, designer series paper. The last few weeks I've done different ones. So the first thing we're going to do is, let me find my card here. Way in the back. So I'm going to show you how to make this card, which we've made one similar before. It's just a few step-ups. I think there's an extra fold from the one we did before. So here are all of my parts, and again, as you know, either tomorrow or Friday, everything will be up on my page. So I used the layer in circles here for this scallop piece, and then this next one. I used the 2 largest of the straight circle in the scallop, and then I embossed this background piece in a beautiful folder. It's called the 3D bark, and it's very detailed. It's so pretty. And then on another the next project, I did use the tags. I just wanted to show you what they look like in case I forget. And you can find everything in your catalog. If you do not have a current catalog, grab mine right here. If you do not have a current annual catalog that just came out and you don't have a demonstrator, I'll be happy to give you one. So let's start. This is the colors. It's beautiful. This paper here has been so popular. It is sold out once and it's sold out again, but it is going to be back. So the paper that I'm featuring is once in a while. This is a rare time that they brought a paper over from the other catalog, but it was so popular back then that I think that that's why they brought it back. So I like it. You can see it's got lots of texture in grains. It makes wonderful men's cards. So that's on page 132 if you have your catalog. And then this bulk 3D folder is on page 154. And the last one was the layer in circles right down here on the bottom of page 163. So I won't have the page numbers when I upload it tomorrow, but I should have all of the item numbers for you. And I did put everything on a little post-it note, so those of you that can't wait till I get it uploaded, you'll have some information here. Okay, so I need to grab my big scoreboard, my big Stampin' Up! Scoreboard. So this is 5.5 by 11. And we're going to score it on the 11-inch side. Let me get a dryer sheet. I like to keep used dryer sheets in my craft room because it does help sometimes with scoring, especially when you're using the thick Whisper White. So the first score mark is 1 1/4, 4 inches, 6 3/4. So you should have 4 panels, 1 1/4, 4 inches, 6 3/4. So that this piece here will be your traditional 4 1/4. All right, so let me get my bone folder out. Put this away for a minute. We'll need it again on the next project. So if you have any questions, you can ask them. I'll try to catch them while I'm on live, but if not, I always go back. So I'm taking that largest panel and I folded it over. We're going to accordion fold this. So now I'm bringing back the next one. And then my final little, I think it was 1 1/4. So now you can see we got this cool, awkward W. Okay, so I have lots of paper here. So for the very back panel, you're going to need a 4 1/4. What happened to my... Oh, geez, I'm so people. I swear I would lose my head if it wasn't hooked to my shoulders. I had the this already done, but we'll end up using that one. Okay, so I'm going to stick this on. I wanted you to see all the pretty paper. See, this is like, remember, what was that called? Textured walls when we were a few years back. So this is your standard 4 by 5 1/4 mat. Most of you know that. So I'm going to place that so that I have a nice white frame all the way around it. And then these 2 panels are the same size. So those 2 pieces are 2.5 by 5 1/4. And again, I wanted to show the beauty of all of the pretty green paper. You could select whatever side you want. Most of us find making men's cards are the hardest. So again, you're going to have a little white frame all the way around it. Did anybody do any crafting today? I hope you share if you did. Okay. So here we go. Here's the next piece. Again, this is 2.5 by 5 1/4. Now you're going to need a piece here and a piece here. So those 2 pieces are 1 1/4 Oh, looks like I want it a little smaller. I must have cut those wrong. Let me see. Oh, I did. I should have done it 1 inch, it looks like. Let me grab my cutter. Where is it? Up on the table over here. Let me just take a whisker off that. So now they're 1 inch. Where's the other one? Guess I didn't go down far enough. There we go. Okay. So we're going to put one here. I want to see which one I want to put. Let me close this up a minute. Nope, I think I'll put this one. It's a little bit different. We put some of my favorite glue, which is the wet Tombow glue. And the reason that I like it is because it gives you a minute or two to make some adjustments or modifications, as a lot of people have heard me say. Bless your heart. Alright, so let me double check something here for a minute. Well, that is the strangest thing, because I know I cut them out. Let me just check one place quickly. Found them. I left them on my other table. I wanted to show you in here. I actually made it so that this tab here is a gift card. So I'm going to show you how to do that very quickly. But let's do a little bit of stamping here. The stamp set I'm using is one that I absolutely love. Some of you have it. I think I left that on my table too. This makes some great men's cards. So let's grab some ink here. I'm going to use basic gray. I'm going to test drive it on a piece of Post-it note so I can get a feel for it. Yep, that looks good. But I want it just a little bit lighter. I'm going to stamp off, stamp on. And I'm just going to use this one because I did not stamp another cup. So just to show you, all you do is you stamp your cup and you're going to color it. I used cinnamon cider, and I never can remember the name of this one. Mango Melody. I don't know why. It's such a tongue twister for me. And then I did just a little bit of blue here to give it a little bit of shadow, and then I painted it with Rink of Stella. And all of those products are available by Stampin' Up. So let me show you how I cheat and make my, again, you could take a little piece of paper, piece of scrap even. This is going to be for my banner, but and just cut it across to make it look like your cup is sitting on there. So first things first, let me get all these notes out of your way. They're probably distracted. I just grab a piece of scrap paper. Determine how high I want my... so this particular business gift card measures 2 inches. So I'm just taking a piece of scrap that I have in my scrap bin, and I'm going to use it. So if it's 2 inches, I want to make it 2.5 inches, so that I have 1/4 of an inch on each side. So I'm going to turn this around so I don't accidentally cut it. So I'm going to score this at 1/4 of an inch on 3 sides. And you can make this as high or as low as you want it to be. Again, just take a piece out of your scrap bin. Don't cut a new piece just for this. Fold those over and burnish them. Now, a little tip that I do to help this lay a little flatter is, can you see this corner right here? I'm going to cut that at an angle right through this side and that side. I'm going to do that on both sides. My scrap to cover it. I'm going to grab some tear and tape. That one's a little thick. I think I'll use the bootleg one because it's a little narrower. So you want some kind of a heavy tape. So I'm going to put that on the flap that I want attached to my card base. Just like that. A little other tip that I would like to give you is you need to make sure that this is going to clear your fold. So if you want to make yours bigger, looks like I scored it a little too close. I'm going to grab another piece. Another cheating method that you can use, that I often do. I hate to measure. I don't know about you guys. Are you guys like that? And I don't mind showing you twice how to do this. So I have a piece of scrap here. I'm going to take my card. I'm going to cut some of that off, though. It's a little too much for me. You don't even need your cutter. So this is my card. I'm just going to wrap it, so to speak. There we go. Because you want to make sure you allow for the thickness of your card, or you're going to have a problem with the card sliding in and out. So you can just take your card, take a piece of scrap, and wrap it. So let me show you that trick again that will help your pocket to lay flat. From this corner right through where they meet. Okay, so let's get some more tape. Lottery tickets would fit wonderful with this. Of course, money always works. But the next project, you might want to get them a card to go out to eat or party. I'll show you in a minute. Hope the ambulance is going by. Okay, so make sure you burnish that really well. Make sure your card is here. We can put this piece on before we even put it on our... And again, use scraps, use scraps. I'm just going to hold that there for a minute. Gives it a little finished look. And we're going to just cut that off. Alright, so let me bring in this where we want to put it. Take off that protective coating. Okay, we're going to put it right there. Not going to put it way down, but in a little bit. Just hold that there. And then you know your card is going to slide in and out if you wrap it around it. So that's a good little tip. You don't have to measure. That's the greatest part of the tip. Same with the belly band. Let me show you how I do that. Get these little scraps out of the way. And again, great way to use up your scraps. So my particular belly band, the designer paper is 3/4 of an inch, about 10 inches or so. This is 1 1/4 inches. So I'm going to just take a little bit of wet glue. I bounce back and forth, people. A little goes a long ways. I don't even know if I trimmed this off. It might have just been in my pile. Alright, so I'm going to try to center this. And again, these are all scraps that I had left. I didn't have to cut a new piece. Use those scraps. Now, same with the belly band. You don't want to put it so tight that somebody can't slide this off. So I usually set my card down and just casually fold that over. And before I glue that down, I want to be able to make sure that it's going to slide back and forth. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little bit of wet glue here because that's about where I know it overlaps. Line them up. And if you wrap it around the front like I did, you'll be able to cover it with this scallop disc. You can see that pretty bark folder. I just love it. I'm going to hold that there just for a few minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Alright, and then this one will go right on top. And because this is so embossed, I am going to use wet glue. Your tape one, it might not stick too well. Alright, so I will create the little... I got carried away with moving things around. What did I do with the finished? Alright, so those of you that know me, I have a team underneath me of demonstrators. I have one in particular. Her name is Anita. I don't know if she's listening tonight or not. I think she's out of town. I don't know where the belly band was for the first card. It's probably someplace on this disaster. This is a card that we had in my card kit that some people picked up. So she inspired me. You know how I love to do boxes and 3D things. I can hear some of you cringing that don't like to do that. But I always like a challenge. So we're going to make this beautiful box. It's intended for wine, but I'm using a beer bottle. I'm not going to undo it. But I wanted to showcase that wood again, kind of masculine, and then I made a cute tag for it. So we are going to get started here. I'm going to get my big board out again. So I did make a little cheat sheet for you. The paper is 8.5 by 9.5. So try to keep that in the view while you need 6 pieces of 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. Alright, let's get that big big scoreboard out. Okay, so on the 9.5-inch side, you use my dryer sheet. I am using thick. You can use any cardstock you want. I find if you just put designer paper, it is not sturdy enough. Okay, so let's do the cheat sheet. 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5, and 9. Then I'm going to turn it around and do 1.5 on each end. So for me, it's just easier to flip it over. Okay, so we're going to have to make points here. See how the points are on the jar, on the top of the box here? Let's see if I can put that so you can see it a little bit. So we need to make those. So again, I'm all about keeping things simple. So since this is 1.5, the halfway mark would be 3/4. So all I did was take a piece of scrap and cut it at 3/4. So I'm going to line it up right here. This is probably, to me, this is easy. I'm sorry if it doesn't seem easy to you, but I hate to measure. If I can find a quick fix, I'm just putting a little mark. So as you can see, I have a score mark here. I'm lining this up. Making another one. You need to make one in between each of these on one end only. So there's another score mark. You could measure it if you wanted to. But if I can find a quick, fast way, that's how I personally like to do things. Line that up with the edge of that score mark, and there we go. So now we're going to grab our folder, our bone folder, start doing some burnishing. So all of these need to be burnished. One on top, one on the bottom. Then grab a nice pair of sharp scissors and you're going to cut straight down. On both sides. Then on this little piece, we're going to cut that right off. I'm going to cut this one off. Now we're going to cut just like we did on the opposite side. Oh, I'm so glad you guys like the bottle box. And there's so many, I don't drink. I had to ask one of my sons for a bottle of beer. There's so many of those gourmet beers, or I don't know what the fancy word is that you guys probably know more than I know. Okay, now I'm going to just switch off to a long pair of scissors. So remember these little marks that I made? I'm going to show you why you need them now. You're going to cut from that point to the corner. That's how we create those points. It's really, really a simple box. I don't know why it took me so long to make one. Anita makes gorgeous ones for large wine bottles, so you'd need a bigger piece of paper, I'm sure. I always like the challenge of doing the math to figure out. So from that point to that point, put that one down. So those of you with the upcoming holidays that like to give wine or a special beer, great way to package it up to make it cool. You certainly have beautiful paper to be able to do that. All right. Let me get rid of these little pieces of paper. Whoops, I didn't do the last one. My goodness. All right, so now we can decorate the front of this. It's much easier to decorate it while it's flat. So again, I took some of the same pieces of paper. They're 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. Oh, these look too much the same. Let me switch this. Oh, we're going to end up with the same situation. Oh, I know what I'll do. This one, I see what I did wrong. Okay. So this one will go here. And then this one will go here. This one will go here. There. Okay, so let's start gluing those down. So you need 6 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. Again, some nice wet glue. A little goes a long ways. And people just like personal gifts. It could be, you know, I don't know what beer goes for. I have no clue. But, you know, buy one of those, what's it called? Crafted beer, isn't it? Isn't that what it's called? And they got like the blueberry and all kinds of flavors. You know, and you made a pretty box for it. They would get such a kick out of that. This paper goes so well with crumb cake, too. Lots of colors. Smoky slate. Gray. Basic gray. Sahara sand is another one that it goes very well with. Early espresso. Oh, Connie says, is that what it's called, Connie? Crafted beer, or... Does anybody know if that's the, am I using the right term? And if you live here in town, I know my boys love to go to Gritty's. So I'm going to give that, get somebody to buy me some crafted beer and make them one of these for Christmas with a gift certificate to Gritty's. Those of you that are local know what great food and great beer they have according to the kids. I'm just burnishing this to make sure it's really attached well. Alright. Now I'm going to turn it over. I am going to use heavy duty tape. Where did I put it? I just had it in my hand, for goodness sakes. Your desk gets such a mess, you all can relate to that, right? Well, I guess I have to use wet glue. I don't know where I set it down. So let's put a little bit of wet glue. Don't go past the fold. And then you can put this down. Just let it sit there for a minute. Well, not even a minute, like 60 seconds. Okay. Whoop. Sometimes, you know what I do when I'm busy like this, is I put something heavy on it, like the bottle. Let me let that sit for a minute and see if there's any questions. Thank you so much. Oh, micro beers. Thank you, Connie. Thank you so much for those of you that are sharing this. That's awesome. I so appreciate it. So while that's drying a little bit, I'm going to stamp my tag. I knew there was a fancy name, but I had no idea what it was called. All right, let me get my ink. Probably should have grabbed Smoky Slate, but I don't always put my labels on, so I just make a pencil mark where the top is. So I know Connie's going to borrow my stamp set tomorrow. So Connie, that's what that little arrow or mark means. All right. There we go with that. Grab one of my favorite twines, linen thread. Okay, so that should be dry now. So we have one little final step. You need to punch some holes. Put my linen thread where I don't lose it. My hands are all sticky. That's part of my problem. Right there, doesn't want to stick. Let me burnish it. But do as much as you can when the box is flat. So now you're just going to take a small punch, hole punch. Oops, that's the wrong one. If you want to put ribbon, you need to use a bigger punch. We all have the regular half-inch punch, or quarter-inch I think it is, I'm sorry. You could make yourself a little template too. I'm not being that careful. So I'm doubling up my baker's linen thread, I'm sorry. I'm going to thread it through. I'm going to use my, take a little piece of Scotch tape. Put it right on the end. Make yourself a little needle, I call it. My hands are sticky. Hold on a minute, people. I'm sorry, but my hands are very sticky. There. It's so hard to work when your hands get sticky. I keep these little alcohol. There, that's much better. Alright, let's see if it can resume here. Oh, my little trick is going to fail me tonight. There we go. So I just do an in and out. You can play with it however you want. So like that, I would just keep going. So the bottom, I'm going to show you how to do the bottom. It's a lot more helpful if you have a bottle in it. So let me see if I can undo this. Oh, perfect. Here we go. So you can see what it looks like. But it's very helpful if you have your bottle on the bottom to help you hold this down. So all you're going to do is you're going to overlap them like that. I am going to use my snail Stampin' Seal. You don't want to go all the way across either. Come on. There we go. Get my silicone mat so I can do the other side. I'm going to go about halfway. And I'll show you what I did on the bottom after. Just to, I don't know, give it a finished look, I guess. So you're just going to keep, can you see that? So it keeps its shape. And what I did was I just punched a 2-inch circle and covered the whole thing so that it looks much more finished. So let me get the tags so you can see those. So these are the tags. This is the card. I don't know what happened to the other. You can see my desk, it's a mess. So let me get back to my notes. I can never remember anything. So that's the supplies that I used. Again, you may have to do a little bit of adjustment. This is a pretty standard, one of those special beers, I guess. I don't know anything about beers. I have no clue. So if you follow my measurements, I think it would be fine. But if you have a different size, you may have to do some adjustments. So I will have pictures and measurements tomorrow for you up on my site, my business page. And I thank you so much for joining me. Next week will be Christmas paper and Christmas projects for Christmas in July, and the final 4 of the designer papers that I loved and wanted to share with you guys. So if there's something you'd like me to see me do in the next few weeks, please comment in the comment field. I will read them all tomorrow and respond. And I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great night, and I hope the weather's okay where you are. I know it's terrible in some parts of the country. Thank you so much, and you have a great night. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.